I want to move on to our final story this week. And frankly, it is a shame that I didn't get to this one previously until it came across my feed. So the good folks at Status Quo covered this one, interviewing a Lapel, Indiana resident named Brianna Davis about a growing drinking water crisis there and in the surrounding counties, in which residents' drinking and bathing water has been coming out brown, orange, and yellow, while also carrying a foul smell. Now, despite this, local officials have done nothing and told residents just to flush their water until it's not discolored. Mind you, even if it's the right color, there still may be other bad stuff going on in it. And this story, again, has received virtually no national attention and has received very little local media attention. And, part of that's my fault. It was there in the Indy Star. As I saw this, I'm like, oh, well, has anybody been covering this? Oh, yeah, they have. But it just gets mentioned in passing. Jackson, this is in your neck of the woods, isn't it?
Yeah, Madison County. Yeah, and I watched that whole video. Shout out Status Quo News. Jordan Sheridan's awesome. Been following them, so make sure you guys give them a follow on YouTube. And yeah, I've actually been talking to some people about this. Like at the Madison County Fair, they had a whole booth about like how we're gonna clean the clean water, the dirty water and all that. So it's something that's on our radar, and a lot of people in this area are concerned about. And it's absurd that our state government or federal government, like the problem with Flint, Michigan is still ongoing. And that was like under the Obama administration that they gave them a lot of flack for. So it's absurd that we can't have a robust infrastructure, program in this country to fix the water problems and, make sure that our people have access to water, as is their human right, food, water, shelter. Yeah, we need to step in. We need to subsidize whatever we need to subsidize and make sure that these people in Lapel, Indiana, get the clean water that they deserve.
Very good. Simon, I wanted to ask you, you spend a lot of time organizing in rural spaces. This is one of those things where small towns like Lapel and probably a lot of the other small rural communities that you're visiting and speaking with are running into these same sort of infrastructure issues, and they just don't have the bandwidth as a small community to do the big things that they need to do. Isn't this one of these situations that just begs for the pooling of resources from a larger group, like, say, the whole state or the whole country? Or, but that's communism, right? What do you think?
This story is not unique. We have many towns in Indiana and throughout the country that have very similar problems. So Martinsville, Indiana, is another place. It was known for its mineral spring waters. And you would have dignitaries come to Martinsville at the beginning of the 20th century, to enjoy those. In the 70s, there was a cleaner downtown that decided to put all its chemicals into the drains, which went straight into the aquifer. So now they have 3 or 4 toxic plumes under the town. They no longer have the mineral waters, and then the organizing we did there raised enough awareness to get a couple of Superfund sites declared. So, and I think Lapel is in a very similar situation, that they're at the point now where they're getting recognized as Superfund sites, which means that the extra resources can come in. But I have not seen a lot of successful remediation that wouldn't have necessarily occurred over time naturally. So I'm a little skeptical about a lot of the resources that have been brought into these situations to fix things. And I mean, if your water is brown or even any kind of off clear color, you've got some problems there that have got to be fixed.
Jennifer, is this something you're seeing down in communities in your area as well?
Yes. So I live in Charlestown, and Charlestown has historically had a huge issue with ucky water, like worse than that. And some of that has been taken care of. But what is interesting about my community and Simon's community, the Martinsville community, is that American Water has, for several years, in my community in Charlestown and Martinsville, has been showing the forever chemicals in their water.
Yeah.
And that's just an issue that nobody's talking enough about. I know that I had alerted our local government about this 4 years ago, because there's been some articles just kind of buried about the Martinsville community and my community with the American Water, but it still is a big issue. And yeah, and then we're also over here where there's, we're again talking about solar farms and then also data centers and stuff like that. So with water in this state that's historically had a lot of issues, and then we're not even addressing those and adding more things on top of it, that, this is just going to get worse and worse for the Hoosier state.
Yeah. And
Water is, go ahead, Simon.
Yeah, part of the problem as well is that some of the people that are responsible for the watersheds, when they're going out and testing the water in the watersheds at various places, because most of the watersheds are actually managed as sewer districts, they are testing for biological chemicals, in other words, bacteria and sort of viruses and that kind of thing. That's what they're testing for in the water. They're not looking for PFAS. They're not looking for industrial chemicals. They're just looking to see if it's got, an out of bounds level of bacteria.
The other thing about this article that we're talking about initially is with the leaders, the local leaders are just saying, the water's okay to drink the water, right? I'd like to see how many of them actually pick up a glass and drink that water. And in Charlestown, grandmothers were putting pictures on Facebook of like filling up their bathtub with just, water that's the color of Jackson's shirt or Scott's shirt. And, would you bathe your grandchild in this? So I think it's just also just the huge disconnect between some of those people making the policies and what they're telling us.
Breonna Davis in that story said that her dog had died because of an inflamed liver. The dog drank that water and then the dog freaking died.
I worry about that with my dogs too, because I don't drink the water here because it is so there's so many chemicals in it. Like as soon as you open the faucet, you can even flush the toilet and you can smell it. And I worry about my dogs. I'm like, do I need to give them bottled water?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It really shows kind of like how far we've fallen as a society, that we cannot meet the most basic human need of our people. And that is fresh, clean drinking water. Water is life. Listen,
and it's more than that, because this whole episode, we've talked about those basic human things that people need, right? Food, water, healthcare, childcare, all of those things that the powers that be are just throwing to the side.
And we could have them. There is plenty to go around. There are billionaires and oligarchs and others hoarding these resources and keeping them from us. And only when we exercise our power all together as people will we, change the system. Listen, that is it for today. I want to thank my guests, Simon, Jackson, and Jennifer. Let me give each of you a chance just to say goodbye and tell the folks where they can find you. Let me begin with you, Simon, down there in the corner. And Michelle says, I got to make sure you remember to pitch Organizing Indiana.
Yes, I need to do that. First, I'm going to pitch a film that we made a little while ago on the Flint, Michigan water crisis. So basically, the film is called Flint Fatigue, and you can find it at flintfatigue.com. And that was a film that I helped produce with Status Quo News. Also, Indiana Rural Summit is important because that's the support structure for the Indiana House candidates for 2026. And that's indianaruralsummit.org. And then if you're looking for resources and organizations to connect with, essentially you can find people that have similar mindsets and similar goals, and it's important that we stick together. You can find that at organizingindiana.org. And then there's a number of resources there, And check it out.
And Simon, you've got your own personal website too, which folks should just look at because you're an interesting dude with varied interests.
I do stuff. So the funniest interview I've ever been to was a guy said, we need somebody that can do stuff. Do you do stuff? And I said, why, yes, I do stuff. And he said, great, you're hired. If anybody does that to you, run away as fast as you can. simonhiggs.com, and my business website is higgs.com.
All right, very good. Jennifer, how about you? Where can the good folks find you?
Well, you can find me pretty much anywhere. Southern Indiana up to Indy. I like to go all over the state. But as far as where I put most of my stuff out, I just pretty much am stuck on Facebook. I got some on Instagram, but I don't even check that stuff. I need to get up to speed on all the socials. But it's Jennifer David for Hoosiers 2026. I also own several businesses, and then my own personal page, which I really talk a lot about late diagnosed female autism, is just Jennifer David.
All right, excellent. Finally, Jackson, how about you? Where can the folks learn more about you and your campaign for Congress there?
Right. So we're running in the 5th District of Indiana. We're going to replace Victoria Sparks in 2026. We're the only grassroots campaign running for this district right now. So you guys, please go to jacksonfranklinforcongress.com to donate, join our team, and see more about the campaign. You can find us on social media by typing in Jackson Franklin for Congress. We're everywhere. Please, we need all the help we get. This is a people-powered movement. If you believe in things like healthcare is a human right, like Medicare for all, women's rights, legalizing cannabis, paid family leave, I could go on and on and on about all these policies, but younger, angrier Bernie Sanders of Indiana, we need your help. Please go to the website, jacksonfranklinforcongress.com, to donate. This movement runs on with good people like you helping it. So thank you.
Thank you, Jackson. And for me, you can find me at HoosLeft.us, where, hey, we've got a couple of special events coming up this week. Tuesday, I will be live on the interwebs with Victoria Martz and Christina Person. They're going to join me to preview next Saturday's Hoosiers for Healthcare debate in Batesville, featuring all of your Democratic candidates for House District 9. I think we got an independent candidate involved as well, Aaron Houchin. As usual, nowhere to be seen. Then next Saturday, I will be in Batesville broadcasting live from the scene of said debate. Come see me there. If you can't see me there, we'll be broadcasting it here. And I'll see you here next week for another episode of this show. But until that time, on behalf of my guests, I am Scott Aaron Rogers. Love each other, Indiana. Except for Nazis. Fuck you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.